Hi guys. So I'm going to read chapter 3 and 4 of the Magic Tree House, book 1, Dinosaurs Before Dark. So if you haven't heard chapter 1 and 2, go back and listen to that first. Okay, before I start reading, I wanted to mention to you that I had a few ideas of things you could do to go along with this book. You don't have to do any of them, but just some thoughts. For those of you that like to draw, you could maybe draw some pictures to go with this. You could draw the tree house. You could draw the dinosaur. You could draw Annie and Jack. You could draw books. Whatever. Okay? Another thing I was thinking you could do is you could make a tree house yourself. I don't mean build a tree house up in a tree. Obviously, you can't do that. But you could make a fort in your bed. You could make a fort under a table. You could go down in your basement if you have a basement and make a fort with blankets, if that's okay with mom and dad. So that was one thing. The other thing I was thinking for those of you that are not really into drawing, and I know there's some of you, get some Legos. Try to make a magic tree house out of Legos or blocks. Okay? Those are just some things I was thinking you could do. And if you want to, this is just if you want to, and if mom and dad or whoever feels like it, take a picture and send them to me. Okay? All right, so here we go. So just to refresh our minds, we're reading this book, Magic Tree House, Dinosaurs Before Dark. And in the book we have Annie and Jack. Annie is 7 and Jack is 8.5. And they live in a place called Frog Creek, Pennsylvania. And they're walking home from, well, we don't know where they're walking home from, but it's getting dark at night. And all of a sudden, Annie runs ahead and she finds this mysterious tree house up in a tree, obviously. And she climbs up it, even though her big brother Jack says, "Don't climb up that tree." And she finds all these really cool old books up there. And so then her brother, who loves books, climbs up the tree too. And then the next thing you know, they see this pteranodon dinosaur. Let's see. I have a really hard time orienting myself because it's like being in front of a mirror. A pteranodon go past the window, and Jack opens up a dinosaur book, and the magic treehouse starts to shake and shake and shake. And that's where it leaves us. Okay, so chapter 3. And I now have my handy dandy bookmark because they have bookmarks in the books in the Magic Tree House. So this is my Arlington County Public Library bookmark. Okay, chapter 3. Where is here? Like, where did they land, right? Jack looked out the window. He looked down at the picture in the book that he was reading about dinosaurs. He looked back out the window. The world outside and the world in the picture, they were exactly the same. The pteranodon was soaring through the sky. The ground was covered with ferns and tall grass. There was a winding stream, a sloping hill, and volcanoes in the distance. Where are we? Stammered Jack. The pteranodon glided down to the base of their tree. The creature coasted to a stop and stood very still. "What happened to us?" said Annie. She looked back at Jack. He looked at her. "I don't know," said Jack. "I was looking at the picture in the book, and you said, 'Wow, I wish I could see a pteranodon for real,'" said Annie. "Yeah, and then we saw one in the Frog Creek woods," said Jack. "Yeah, and then the wind got loud and the treehouse started spinning," said Annie. "And we landed here," said Jack. "And we landed here," said Annie. "So that means," said Jack. "So that means what?" said Annie. "Nothing," said Jack. He shook his head. "None of this could be real." Annie looked out the window again. "But he's real," she said. "He's very real." Jack looked out the window with her. The pteranodon was standing at the base of the oak tree like a guard. His giant wings were spread out on either side of him. "Hi!" Annie shouted. "Shh!" said Jack. not supposed to be here." "But where is here?" said Annie. "I don't know," said Jack. "Hi!" Annie called again to the creature. The pteranodon looked up at them. "Where is here?" Annie called down. "You're nuts. He can't talk," said Jack, "but maybe the book can tell us." Jack looked down at the book. He read the words under the picture. "This flying reptile lived in the Cretaceous period. It vanished 65 million years ago." It's a long time. Let's look at the picture. No, impossible. They couldn't have landed in a time 65 million years ago. "Jack," said Annie, "he's nice." "Nice? Yeah, I can tell. Let's go down and talk to him." "Talk to him?" Annie started down the rope ladder. "Hey!" shouted Jack, but Annie kept going. "Are you crazy?" Jack called. Annie dropped to the ground. She stepped boldly up to the ancient creature. I'll show you again. So she's going down the ladder to see the dinosaur. Chapter 4, Henry. Jack gasped. Chapter 4. Jack gasped as Annie held out her hand. "Oh, brother." She was always trying to make friends with animals, but this was going too far. "Don't get too close to him, Annie," Jack shouted. But Annie touched the pteranodon's crest. Let's see. I guess the crest is this part, right? All my dinosaur fans out there. She stroked his neck. She was talking to him. What in the world was she saying? Jack took a deep breath. Okay, he would go down too. It would be a good example. And it would be good to examine the creature, take notes like a scientist. Jack started down the rope ladder. When he got to the ground, Jack was only a few feet away from the creature. The creature stared at Jack. His eyes were bright and alert. "He's soft, Jack," said Annie. "He feels like Henry." Jack snorted. "He's no dog, Annie." "Feel him, Jack," said Annie. Jack didn't move. "Don't think, Jack. Just do it." Jack stepped forward. He put out his arm. Very cautiously, he brushed his hand down the creature's neck. Interesting. A thin layer of fuzz covered the pteranodon's skin. Now that's weird, because I would have thought, if you'd asked me, a pteranodon would have been like, I don't know. I would have thought like a dolphin skin. I don't know. What do you guys think? Anyway, "Soft, huh?" said Annie. Jack reached into his backpack and pulled out a pencil and a notebook, and he wrote, "Fuzzy skin." "What are you doing?" asked Annie. "Taking notes," said Jack. "We're probably the first people in the whole world to ever see a real live pteranodon." So here's Jack taking notes. He wrote "fuzzy skin." Jack looked at the pteranodon again. The creature had a bony crest on the top of his head. The crest was longer than Jack's arm. "I wonder how smart he is," Jack said. "Very smart," said Annie. "Don't count on it," said Jack. "His brain's probably no bigger than a bean." Remember a bean? Like that big. "No, he's very smart. I can feel it," said Annie. "I'm going to call him Henry." Jack wrote in his notebook, "Small brain? Question mark. Jack looked at the creature again. "Maybe he's a mutant," he said. The creature tilted its head. Annie laughed. "He's no mutant, Jack." "Well, what's he doing here then? Where is this place?" said Jack. Annie leaned her closer to the pteranodon. "Do you know where we are, Henry?" she asked softly. The creature fixed his eyes on Annie. His long jaws were opening and closing like a giant pair of scissors. "Are you trying to talk to me, Henry?" asked Annie. "Forget it, Annie," Jack wrote in his notebook. "Mouth like scissors? Question mark. "Did we come to a long time ago, Henry?" asked Annie. "Is this a place from long ago?" Suddenly she gasped Jack. He looked up. Annie was pointing toward the hill. On top stood a huge dinosaur. Ha! Next chapter. So, let me look here. So I'll show you this picture again. So that is the crest. Right there. See, he said it was as long as his arm. So when we read it again, we'll find out what the big dinosaur was. I hope I can pronounce the name. Where's Charlie P when you need him, right? Charlie's my official dinosaur expert. Okay, guys, hope you have a good day. Be good. Listen to your parents. Don't argue with your brothers and sisters. I love you. Bye.